So for Thursday's vlog, I thought I would take a different approach. Some people have said they would like to see my face. So I'm gonna try this and see if it works. If you like it or not, please put your comments below and let me know, and then I'll stick with whichever one people seem to like the most. So I'm ready with my monorail lime sweater. So here we go, Ko-osh. Thursday morning arrives. It's absolutely beautiful at the Grand Floridian, and I go upstairs to the lobby to take the monorail over to the Magic Kingdom, because yes, I'm a creature of habit. But it was down for maintenance, which I think is kind of an odd thing to do when, you know, people are perhaps trying to get to Crystal Palace and things like that for early ADRs. But I don't know, so I turned around and went back down to the boat and took a nice little ride across Seven Seas Lagoon to the Polynesian, and then headed over to Magic Kingdom. And from there, again, creature of habit, I went right to the People Mover. And I probably rode it a couple. Usually when I ride it, I do 2 or 3 rides, but I always look and make sure that there's no queue or a lot of people coming up the ramp. And if there is, then I'll get off the ride. But if not, then, you know, I do a little, and usually the cast member will let you stay on. So after a couple rides on the People Mover, I went down and said hello to my boyfriend, Sunny Eclipse. I love Sunny. I usually tend to see him in the evenings, like after Wishes or something like that. I'll get maybe something to drink and just sit. It tends to get quiet in there. Most people are done with their dinner, and I'll watch, usually I'll sit through a complete set. But I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that because Chuy will be arriving tomorrow. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen later today. So I thought, let me go say hi. So I snuck in, and he was already performing, even though Cosmic Race technically wasn't open. And I sat and watched him for a little while. When I'm at the parks by myself, I tend to not eat breakfast. Maybe I'll just have a piece of fruit or something, and then I'll go to Harbor House right when they open at 10:30, and that was today's plan. So after I left Sunny, I took a leisurely stroll through Fantasyland, stopped and said hello. You know, I really do love the Tangled bathroom area. It's such wonderful theming, and I sat there for a little bit enjoying the sun. And then behind me there was a little bit of a commotion. I turned around and Captain Hook came out to say hello. So that was kind of cool, got to see him. And then I headed into Harbor House, and my favorite cast member was working. Now, I know this is gonna seem a little bit like stalking, but it's not really. You know, it's just the last 3 visits he's been working there, and he's hard to forget with his bald head. But even more so that's hard to forget is his amazing personality. I've been in there when it's packed full of people, and he just remains calm and collective, even though people are yelling at him. So it's always nice to see him. So today I got not only my normal fried fish, but I also got some chowder. I like their chowder a lot. It's always a little too hot, so it works out well. I eat the shrimp, and by that time the chowder's cooled off just enough that I can eat it without burning the roof of my mouth, which I have done numerous times. After lunch, I strolled over through Frontierland, and then I just, let's go see the tiki birds. So I went over to the Enchanted Tiki Room and sang along with the birds. And then after that, I headed back to Main Street. I was gonna cross back over to Tomorrowland, and I saw the Dapper Dans. It's still pretty early. They were on the trolley. I have been a big fan of the Dapper Dans from the 70s. My dad always would stop and listen to them, and we got to know them by name. One of them actually came up in the 70s and stayed at our house while he was at an antique car show. So, you know, we became quite friendly with the Dapper Dans, so it's always a must-do. So I went down Main Street, followed the trolley, and they got off and they performed. And then not too much long after that, the Philharmonic came out. It was a great late morning full of wonderful music. And after that, I just spent a fair amount of time on Main Street. I chatted with some of the citizens, Miss Victoria, You Rock Girl, and sat on my rocking chairs and people watched for a little while. It was getting quite hot, so I went back to the Grand Floridian and decided to spend a couple hours at the pool reading my book. Lovely afternoon, trying to decide where to go for dinner. My plan was to go back to Magic Kingdom for what was going to possibly be my last viewing of the Main Street Electrical Parade. I was a huge fan of this parade and I was pretty upset that it was going to close. But I had mixed feelings, like, do I want to go and actually stand there and know that this is the last time I'll ever see it? Or just keep in my memory the last time I saw it. But in the meantime, I'm like, well, I'm gonna need some dinner. It's now like getting to be like 6 o'clock. I was hungry. And pork 2 ways popped into my mind. So I thought, that's it, California Grill. So I went upstairs, showered, got myself presentable, and headed over to the Contemporary. Because I didn't have a reservation, I just sat at the bar and had a really wonderful conversation with the bartender. He was talking to me about how there was this man who was growing coral faster than it could grow in the oceans, and then it would be transplanted to help revive our dying coral reefs. And it was just a really amazing conversation we had. He was a really nice guy, and had my pork 2 ways. And then the sunset was so amazing. I popped outside, and as you go out on either end of the Contemporary, up on that level, they have these amazing mats with the old logo. Actually, I don't know if it is the old logo. I don't know if they use it anymore, or it's like you find it in this place, but I don't think like new stuff gets printed with this logo. But I love this logo. And Mandy, yes, if you're watching this, I am gonna steal that mat for you one day, girl. So then I went outside, beautiful views of the sun kissing Spaceship Earth, and then I stood out there and watched as the sun set. And I made a decision then that I wasn't gonna go back over and see the electrical parade. I don't know, I think it would have, I know this may sound strange to some of you, but I think it would have hurt too much knowing that that was gonna be the last time. Well, you know, they always say they're gonna take things away and they're not gonna come back, and then they end up bringing things back. So maybe they will, but I thought, let me just stay here. I watched Wishes from the bar and, you know, cried as usual. That music just gets to me. It really touches me. And yeah, so sorry. So I made the decision to just go back to the Grand Floridian, and I think that was a wise choice. As I got into the lobby, the orchestra was playing their last set, so I sat and listened to them, and they always bring a smile to my face, so that made me feel a little bit better. And then it was bedtime, and I wanted to get to sleep as soon as I could, because tomorrow Chuy comes, and I missed him. I know it's only been a couple days, but I missed him. And then in 2 more days we leave on our very first ever cruise, and we're so excited about it. We're like, are we gonna like it? Are we not? You know, he gets seasick if he's inside of a boat. As long as he's outside and has fresh air, he's okay. You know, everyone tells you, well, the big boats, it won't matter. But you know what? We don't know. We don't know how sensitive he's going to be. Are the seas going to be, you know, really moving around while we're there. We're not sure. But just in case, we got a room with a veranda so that if push came to shove, he could sleep out there and have the air on him, and then he would be fine if he got really seasick. He did. He's tried the wrist patches, the wristbands, they didn't work. And we got from the doctor the little patches that go behind his ear. So we brought those with us. Hopefully that'll work. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining. And again, let me know in the comments if you like this format or the first due day format better. And then I'll continue from there, whatever way people like. All right, thanks for watching. Ko-osh.